You will not believe why Adigun, the village carpenter, always turned into a giant chicken every Christmas season. In the old Yoruba village of Oluwada, Christmas was not just a holiday. It was a sacred season filled with joy, culture, and ancient traditions. Every December, the village square came alive. Women tied bright Ankara wrappers, children practiced dance steps, and elders sat under the big Iroko tree telling stories about past Christmas miracles. The drummers began rehearsing from the first day of the month. Their talking drums echoed across the village every evening. Hunters returned from the forest carrying fresh bushmeat, grasscutter, antelope, even wildfowl, all meant for the grand Christmas feast. Everyone in Oluwada loved this season. Everyone, except one man. In the very center of the village, in a small mud house with a wooden door he built by himself, lived Adigun, the village carpenter. He was soft-spoken. He was gentle. He repaired people's chairs and doors for almost nothing. Everybody loved him. The children greeted him, the mothers blessed him, and even the elders respected him. But beneath his calm face, beneath his kind smile, Adigun carried a terrifying secret. A secret he had hidden for 30 years. As Christmas got closer, Adigun's body began to change in small, frightening ways. His hands trembled as he sanded planks. His eyes dimmed, losing their usual brightness. Cold sweat covered his forehead even when the sun was hot. At night, he could not sleep. He sat on his wooden stool, staring into the darkness, listening to his heartbeat racing like a frightened drum. Because Adigun knew something the whole village did not know. Something he prayed every year would not happen again. Something he feared more than death itself. Christmas was his curse. Every 25th of December, something inside him woke up. Something ancient, something strange, something he could not control. And this year, he felt the signs stronger than ever. The curse was coming. Slowly, surely, and nothing could stop it. It was the night of December 23rd, a night so quiet that even the crickets stopped singing. Inside his small wooden house, Adigun locked his door with shaking hands. He pushed his stool against it, then another. Anything to keep the world outside and the curse inside. Sweat rolled down his face like rain. His heartbeat sounded like a drum inside his ears. His whole body trembled, not from cold, but from pure fear. He tried to pray. God, please, not this year. Not again, he whispered, holding his chest. But his breath grew heavier, louder, and sharper, as if something else was breathing through him. Suddenly, his ribs tightened so painfully it felt like they were squeezing his heart. His skin began to crawl, rising and falling like something alive underneath it. Then he heard it, a strange clucking noise echoing deep inside his chest. Not from outside, not from the roof, but inside him. Adigun's eyes widened in terror. No, no, please, he gasped. He staggered backward and fell to his knees, gripping his throat as if he could stop the sound from escaping. But it grew louder, stronger, more animal than human. His fingernails stretched and hardened, turning into sharp, curved claws. Tiny bumps rose all over his arms. Then, feathers pushed through his skin, tearing through like tiny needles. White, thick, glowing feathers. Adigun screamed in pain, but his voice cracked halfway, turning into a rough, broken cluck. His eyes suddenly burned, glowing like red-hot charcoal in a dark furnace. His backbone shifted, his legs bent, his body twisted like a rope being forced to change shape. He tried to crawl toward the window, whispering, "Somebody, help me!" But the curse did not listen. His mouth stretched forward, his jaw cracked, his scream turned fully into the cry of a giant chicken. The transformation had begun. Many years earlier, when Adigun was still a little boy running barefoot around the compound, a terrible mistake had already been written in his future. It began with his father, Baba Gbero, a man known for his stubbornness and quick hands. In those days, the Christmas festival in Oluwada was not only celebration, it was also the time when the villagers honored the oracle of Eledumare, the ancient spirit that watched over their land. Every year, the priest of the oracle selected a sacred rooster, a rare, powerful bird believed to carry blessings for the entire village. Its feathers were pure white, its eyes shone like morning dew. Its crowing was said to chase evil spirits away. That year, everybody waited for the ritual, but something unthinkable happened. The night before the ceremony, Baba Gbero, driven by hunger and greed, crept into the sacred shrine. He looked around to make sure no one was watching. The moon was bright, the shrine was quiet, and the sacred rooster, sitting calmly on its wooden perch, seemed like an easy catch. Baba Gbero whispered to himself, "Just one rooster. Let me give my family something to eat this Christmas." He grabbed the bird and ran home. The next morning, the entire village woke to the priest's scream. "The sacred rooster is gone. Who has offended the oracle?" Fear spread through Oluwada like wildfire. The oracle of Eledumare was known for mercy, but also known for terrible punishments. The priest entered the shrine to seek answers, shaking his rattles and calling on the spirit. The ground trembled. The lamps flickered. A cold wind rushed through the shrine. Then the oracle spoke through the priest's mouth, its voice deep and angry. "The one who stole from me has eaten his own future. The sacred rooster was meant to protect this village. Since he took what was mine, his first son shall become what he stole. Each Christmas Eve he shall transform. He shall wear feathers instead of skin. He shall speak clocks instead of words, until truth is restored and the sin is confessed." The villagers fell to the ground in fear, but Baba Gbero never came forward. Shame swallowed him. Fear silenced him. He hid the truth, pretending he knew nothing. He even swore innocent oaths at the village square. But guilt followed him like a shadow. His health weakened. His eyes became hollow. He could not eat or sleep. One night, unable to bear the weight of his secret, Baba Gbero collapsed. Before he died, he whispered to his wife, "I have cursed our child. I have brought darkness to our family. Forgive me." Then he took his final breath. His wife screamed. Little Adigun cried beside the body, but nobody knew the full truth. Only the oracle and Baba Gbero. And from that day forward, the curse rested on Adigun, waiting, sleeping, until he grew old enough to feel its claws. As the old village clock struck midnight, the moment everybody slept in peace, something terrible woke the land. First came a cry, not a normal cry, not a bird, not a human, but a horrifying sound that tore through the night like lightning. It echoed across every hut. It bounced off every rooftop. It pierced the hearts of everyone in Oluwada. Women jumped from their mats, clutching their wrappers. Children bolted upright, shaking, their eyes wide with fear. Fathers reached for lanterns with trembling hands. Dogs began barking wildly, then suddenly stopped, turned around, and ran into the forest, tails between their legs. Even the wind froze. Then it happened. From Adigun's small wooden house came a sound like the sky falling. The entire front door exploded outward, breaking into dozens of splinters that flew across the road. The windows cracked, dust rose, the ground vibrated as if something heavy, something unnatural had forced its way into the world. And then it stepped out. A monstrous figure, a nightmare made of feathers and fear. It was a giant chicken, but not the kind anyone had ever seen. Taller than a palm tree stump, broad shoulders like a man, wings thick and powerful, a long, deadly beak that shone under the moonlight. Its feathers were a strange mixture of white and deep red, glowing faintly like fire touched by snow. But the worst part? The part that made villagers fall to their knees? Were the eyes. They were human. Human and full of sorrow. Human and full of pain. Human and full of a silent cry for help. Those were Adigun's eyes. The creature took one heavy step. The ground trembled. It took another step. Lanterns shook on their hooks. Calabashes rattled. People held their breath. The Christmas curse had fully awakened now. There was no going back, no stopping it. The spirit's punishment had finally taken complete control of Adigun, and the giant chicken, a creature born from sin and sorrow, now walked through the village of Oluwada.
"Yea, pa, what is that thing?" a one shouted, her voice cracking with fear. "Everybody run for your life! It is Adigun! Ha! He has turned to chicken spirit!" Within seconds, the entire street broke into chaos. People scattered like dry leaves in a storm. Women carrying babies dropped their baskets of peppers and tomatoes, not even looking back as the vegetables rolled on the ground. Market sellers abandoned their stalls. Tomatoes, yams, gari, palm oil, everything forgotten. A man frying akara kicked over his hot oil and sprinted away barefoot. Children ran in circles, screaming, tripping, getting up and running again. The church choir, who had been practicing for the morning Christmas carol, saw the creature and vanished instantly. They didn't end their song, they didn't close their hymn books. One moment they were singing, "Joy to the war," the next moment, silence. All of them had disappeared behind houses, inside trees and under benches. Even the hunters, proud men who boasted all year about killing bush animals, suddenly lost their courage. They dropped their bows and arrows and squeezed themselves behind the cassava barn, shaking like frightened goats. The giant chicken turned its massive head slowly, its glowing eyes scanning the fleeing villagers. It took in a deep breath, then flapped its monstrous wings, sending dust, leaves, and papers flying everywhere. With a violent shake of its neck, it released a terrifying crow. The sound tore through the air like thunder. Palm wine calabashes fell from shells and shattered. Goats jumped over fences, running as if they were being chased by demons. Sheep bleated and scattered. Dogs refused to bark again. The drums in the village square rolled off their stands. And just like that, Christmas joy disappeared from Oluwada. The night that was supposed to be filled with peace, love, and celebration became a night of fear, screams, and confusion. The giant chicken took another heavy step forward, and the village held its breath.
The only person who did not run was Grandma Morayo, the oldest woman in Oluwada, the one everyone called Iyagba, the keeper of ancient secrets. She stepped out slowly from her hut. Her back was bent like a drawn bow, her legs thin but steady. Her wrapper was tied firmly around her waist, and her long white hair blew softly in the night breeze like cotton from a kapok tree. But her eyes were sharp, bright, fearless, the kind of eyes that had seen many seasons, many spirits, many dangers. She planted her carved wooden staff firmly into the ground. The earth answered with a soft thud. Then she pointed the staff directly at the giant chicken. Her voice rose, old yet powerful. Adigun. The monstrous chicken jerked slightly, recognizing the name. Grandma Morayo continued, her tone filled with anger and sorrow. "I warned your father. I told him the oracle does not forget. A curse ignored becomes a curse multiplied." The beast stopped moving. Its massive wings folded close to its body. Its glowing eyes dimmed a little. Its huge chest began to rise and fall, slowly, painfully, like something trapped between two worlds. Then, to the shock of everyone hiding behind fences, trees, and broken baskets, tears began to fall. Real tears. Human tears. They rolled down the sides of the giant chicken's face, dripping on the ground like drops of warm rain. The villagers gasped softly. Some covered their mouths. Some peeked through cracks in their doors. Some whispered prayers. For the first time, they didn't see a monster. They saw Adigun, the gentle carpenter, the kind man who fixed doors and built stools for free, trapped inside a body he did not choose. Grandma Morayo stepped closer. Not running, not shaking, not afraid. Her staff glowed faintly as she spoke again. "This curse will kill you, my son, unless we act tonight, before Christmas morning comes, before the sun rises, before the spirit seals your fate forever." The monstrous chicken's beak shook. It made a low, trembling sound, not a crow, not a cluck, but something painful and human. The villagers watched, their hearts pounding. Grandma Morayo tightened her grip on her staff, eyes still locked on the creature. Tonight, everything was about to change.
The village chiefs gathered quickly at the square, still shaking from fear. Their red caps were crooked, their wrappers hurriedly tied, and their voices trembling. But they needed to act. The oldest chief raised his staff and shouted, "Capture it before it destroys Christmas completely." His voice echoed through the dark streets. Immediately, the strongest men in Oluwada assembled. Farmers, hunters, palm wine tappers, even the blacksmith's sons, all of them came out with whatever they could find. Some held ropes made from twisted palm fiber. Some carried long spears. Some brought fishing nets from the riverbank. Others wore amulets and charms given by local herbalists. They marched toward the giant chicken, forming a wide circle around it. One of the men shouted, "Move closer! Don't fear! Surround them well!" Another added, "If we let them escape, Christmas don't finish be that." But the closer they moved, the stronger the curse inside Adigun became. The giant chicken's eyes glowed brighter. Its feathers stood up like sharp knives. Its breathing became wild and heavy. One brave man rushed forward with a rope. Before he could even swing it, the giant chicken kicked him with one huge clawed foot. The man flew into the air like a dry stick and landed in a yam farm with a loud thud. People screamed, "Jesu! He don't kill him!" Another group of 10 men ran in from behind, nets raised. The giant chicken turned sharply and flapped its enormous wings once. Just one flap, but the wind that came from it was like a hurricane. The 10 men were blown backward, rolling, tumbling, shouting, falling over calabashes, firewood, and each other like dry leaves in a storm. Dust rose everywhere. Lanterns fell and shattered. A hunter dropped his spear and yelled, "I not do again. This thing go kill person." He removed his charms and ran. Another hunter followed him. Then another. Soon, half the men disappeared, hiding behind trees and houses. The old chief who had shouted the order earlier now dropped to his knees in confusion. His voice broke as he looked at the destruction. "What kind Christmas is this? Chicken where we dey chop every December. Na chicken dey chase us this year." His hands shook as he covered his face. The night that should have been full of joy and celebration was turning into a night of fear, chaos, and helplessness. And the giant chicken continued to stand tall, its sorrowful human eyes watching everything.
Grandma Morayo knew time was running out. She struck her staff on the earth 3 times, and the villagers slowly crawled out of their hiding places, from behind trees, from inside houses, from under benches, from rooftops where they had climbed in fear. "Come close, my children," she said firmly. Her voice carried the weight of many seasons. Even the wind seemed to stop and listen. When everyone gathered around her, shaking, whispering, holding each other, Grandma Morayo slowly bent down and opened her ancient calabash. The calabash was old and cracked, tied with faded red cloth and cowries. Inside it were strange powders, bones, herbs, and a rolled-up object. She brought out an old scroll made from animal skin, brown with age. Gasps filled the air. Nobody had seen such a thing in decades. Grandma Morayo carefully unrolled the scroll. Strange symbols and writings covered the skin, glowing softly under the moonlight. She read aloud, "Only the flame of truth can destroy the Christmas curse, but the flame must be lit by a feather from the cursed beast." The villagers murmured in fear. They understood what it meant. To save Adigun, to break the ancient curse, they needed to pluck a feather from the giant chicken. A giant chicken that had just thrown men like stones and scattered hunters like ants. One woman grabbed her head and cried, "Who go near am? Who won't die?" Another man shook his head. "Even charm no fit hold that thing." Grandma Morayo closed the scroll and said softly, "Someone must be brave, or Adigun will die before sunrise." Silence fell over the villagers. Nobody stepped forward. Nobody even breathed loudly. Fear sat on everyone's shoulders like a heavy load. Then, from the back of the crowd, a small voice whispered, "I will do it." Every head turned. Standing there was Abeni, Adigun's adopted daughter, a girl no more than 15, with gentle eyes and trembling hands. Tears ran down her cheeks. She stepped forward again, louder. "I cannot watch my father suffer. I will help pluck the feather." The villagers gasped. "Abeni, no! You are only a child. That thing will swallow you. Don't go near it." Mothers held her shoulders. Women hugged her. Men begged her. But Abeni wiped her tears, stood tall, and shook her head. Her voice cracked but stayed firm. "If I don't try, he will die, and he is the only father I know." Even Grandma Morayo paused for a moment, her eyes softening at the girl's courage. Abeni stepped closer to the circle. Her mind was made up. Her heart was steady. Her love for Adigun was stronger than her fear. And somewhere across the village, the giant chicken turned its head as if it heard her. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel to watch more amazing stories like this. Share, like, and drop your comment below.